Some NFL teams didn't just win championships, they changed football forever. From perfection in Miami to dominance in Pittsburgh, these are the greatest NFL teams of all time, the squads that defined generations. In the history of football, the word perfect has been spoken often, but achieved only once. The year was 1972, and the Miami Dolphins set out to chase something the sport had never seen: flawless football. Led by head coach Don Shula, a man who demanded precision, the Dolphins weren't built on flash or fame. They were built on balance, discipline, and unity. They didn't talk about perfection, they worked for it. The season began with quiet confidence. Quarterback BobGrease.com and Clinical guided the offense until injury struck. Then, veteran Earl Morrall stepped in like destiny's substitute. No panic, no drama, just winning. Week after week, the Dolphins moved like a machine. They didn't just win, they controlled every inch of the field. Their no-name defense, anchored by Nick Buonaconte, Manny Fernandez, and Jake Scott, made legends of anonymity. They didn't need stars because, together, they were a constellation. When Grease returned late in the year, the team was already 12-0 in the AFC Championship. He led Miami to a 21-17 victory over the Steelers. Then came Super Bowl VII against the Redskins. Miami's defense suffocated Washington. When the final whistle blew, the scoreboard read 14-7. 17 wins, 0 losses. The first, and still the only, perfect season in NFL history. No egos, no scandals. Just the pure pursuit of doing your job perfectly. If Miami chased perfection, Pittsburgh forged dominance. In the late 1970s, the Steelers didn't just win, they ruled. Born from the grit of a working-class city, they mirrored Pittsburgh itself. Tough, relentless, and proud. They were powered by an offense led by Terry Bradshaw, the fearless gunslinger, and a defense so powerful they named it after their city's soul, the Steel Curtain. Joe Green, Jack Lambert, Mel Blount, Jack Ham, names that sent chills through offenses across America. In 1978, Bradshaw threw deep bombs to Lynn Swann and John Stallworth, while Franco Harris pounded the ground game. They went 14-2 and crushed the Cowboys in Super Bowl XIII. Then came 1979. Older, wiser, still hungry, they marched to Super Bowl XIV, where a 73-yard bomb from Bradshaw to Stallworth sealed the win. The Steelers had claimed their 4th championship in 6 years. 4 Lombardi trophies. 1 Dynasty. Endless echoes. The Steel Curtain. Unbreakable, unforgotten, unmatched. If the 70s were about dominance, the 80s brought revolution. And no team embodied that more than the 1985 Chicago Bears, led by head coach Mike Ditka and defensive genius Buddy Ryan. This team didn't just win games, they destroyed them. They called their defense the 46, a formation built to break quarterbacks. And it worked. The Bears began their season like a storm, finishing 15-1. On defense, Mike Singletary's eyes burned through masks. On offense, Walter Sweetness Payton was graceful and brutal all at once. And at quarterback, Jim McMahon led with chaos and charm. The playoffs were pure dominance. They shut out the Giants, 21-0. They shut out the Rams, 24-0. 2 games, 0 points allowed. Then came Super Bowl 20 against New England. The Bears' defense swallowed the Patriots' whole 7 sacks, 6 turnovers, and a final score of 46-10. The 1985 Bears were built to burn bright. They captured the heart of a city, the fear of a league, and the spirit of football itself. By the end of the 1980s, football was evolving. Precision replaced power, and at the heart of it all stood the San Francisco 49ers. The 1989498 were more than a team. They were a symphony. They called it the West Coast Offense, a philosophy built on timing and rhythm. Joe Montana was the maestro. Jerry Rice was the weapon. That year, San Francisco went 14-2. Montana threw 26 touchdowns with surgical calm, while Rice danced through defenses. In the Super Bowl against the Denver Broncos, Montana threw 5 touchdowns. Every drive looked effortless. When it was over, the scoreboard told the story. 49ers 55, Broncos 10, the largest blowout in Super Bowl history. The 1989 49ers didn't just win a championship, they defined an era. They didn't just play the game, they perfected it. When the 90s began, a new empire was waiting to rise. The Dallas Cowboys, led by Jimmy Johnson and owner Jerry Jones, didn't rebuild. They reimagined greatness. They had the Triplets, Troy Aikman, Emmitt Smith, and Michael Irvin. Aikman's accuracy, Smith's strength, and Irvin's fire were unstoppable behind the Great Wall of Dallas. They finished 13-3, but their story was about swagger. The Cowboys tore through the playoffs, crushing the Eagles and humiliating the 49ers to earn a ticket to Super Bowl 27 against the Buffalo Bills. Dallas exploded, 52-17. The dynasty was born. By the end of the 1990s, football needed something new, something explosive. Enter the 1999 St. Louis Rams. Their quarterback, Kurt Warner, was a grocery store clerk just months before. But destiny doesn't care about resumes. The Rams' offense erupted, scoring 526 points. Warner threw for over 4,300 yards and 41 touchdowns. Marshall Faulk was a hybrid weapon, and receivers Isaac Bruce and Torrey Holt were lightning in human forms. The Super Bowl against the Titans came down to one play. 6 seconds left, a pass to Kevin Dyson, and Mike Jones tackled him 1 yard short. The Rams won 23-16. They weren't supposed to be there, but they became the greatest show on turf. When the new millennium began, one team reminded the world that offense wins games, but defense wins legends. The 2000 Baltimore Ravens didn't just stop opponents, they erased them. Led by Ray Lewis, they built one of the most terrifying defenses ever. They allowed only 165 points all season with 4 shutouts. The Ravens stormed through the playoffs. In Super Bowl 35 against the Giants, it was total annihilation. Baltimore's defense scored more points than the Giants' offense. Final score 34-7. The 2000 Ravens didn't play football, they hunted. If the 1972 Dolphins owned perfection, the 2007 New England Patriots came closest to stealing it. Led by Bill Belichick and Tom Brady, this team redefined dominance. Brady threw 50 touchdowns, Randy Moss caught 23, and they went 16-0 in the regular season. They reached Super Bowl 42 against the underdog New York Giants, expecting a coronation. Instead, they got a miracle. Eli Manning escaped a sack through deep, and David Tyree made one of the most shocking catches ever. The Giants scored. Final 17-14. Perfection slipped away, but greatness never did. By 2013, the NFL was a passing paradise. Then the Seattle Seahawks arrived and brought fear back to the game. They called their defense the Legion of Boom. Richard Sherman, Earl Thomas, and Calm Chancellor. It wasn't just a nickname, it was a warning. On offense, Russell Wilson led with poise, while Marshawn Lynch refused to fall. In the Super Bowl, they faced Peyton Manning and the league's best offense. From the first snap, chaos, the Seahawks dominated, winning 43-8. The Legion of Boom was the sound of modern fear. Some legends go out quietly, others go out with thunder. The 2015 Denver Broncos gave us one last storm and one final chapter for Peyton Manning. His arm was fading, but his mind was still razor sharp. He didn't need to be perfect because his defense was Von Miller, DeMarcus Ware, and Chris Harris Jr. formed a unit that attacked like lightning. They beat the Steelers, dethroned Tom Brady's Patriots, and then faced the electric Carolina Panthers in Super Bowl 50. Denver's defense was merciless. Final score 24-10. Manning rode into the sunset, Lombardi Trophy in hand. From the perfect Dolphins to the Steel Curtain, from Montana's poetry to the Cowboys' swagger, from the Rams' speed to Manning's farewell Leach team didn't just win championships. They defined eras. They shaped how football is played, how it's remembered, and how it will always be loved. If you loved this deep dive into NFL greatness, hit subscribe to NFL Unlocked, drop a comment on your favorite team, and stay tuned. The next chapter in football history is just getting started.